Hello and welcome to the Literacy Network of South Berkshire Presents here on CTSB TV. My name is Leigh Doherty and I am the Executive Director of LitNet, the Literacy Network of South Berkshire. What do we do at LitNet? We provide one-on-one tutoring, free. Who are our learners? Our learners are folks who need support with English as a second language, with preparing for their GED or HiSET exams, the high school equivalency exams, with basic reading and writing support, or help preparing to become a citizen of the United States. Who are our tutors? Our tutors are folks who have time to volunteer. You don't have to be a teacher to be a tutor. It just requires time, desire, the ability to connect with people, and we provide some orientation and some training and ongoing support. So if you'd like to be a tutor, you can contact us, and our contact details are at the end of this episode. Featured in today's episode are 4 LitNet tutors. I'll be interviewing them. 2 are brand new tutors who were onboarded during COVID, during the fall. And the 2 others that are featured were experienced LitNet tutors who tutored in person and now have adapted and they're working online. We so look forward to being back in person with our learners, and I'm sure you all have things you're looking forward to be back in person. But in the meantime, we're delighted that we can deliver our services in a virtual manner. So we hope you'll enjoy this episode and learn some things about LitNet and just enjoy the human stories. Each month we'll have a new episode featuring different stories from our organization, the people who make it up, the learners, the board members, the staff members, the donors, the people who helped establish this organization back in the beginning. We're now 30 years old. So we hope you'll tune in and enjoy learning more about LitNet. And if you would like to become a volunteer, please contact me at info@litnetsb.org. Please enjoy. Okay, welcome. So today we have 4 LitNet tutors with us to tell us more about their experience of being a tutor with LitNet. We have 2 experienced tutors, experience with LitNet, and 2 tutors that joined us just in the fall when we've been online. So I'm going to go around and have the tutors just introduce themselves and tell about the type of student that they're working with for LitNet. So Val, let's start with you.
Okay, Val Coleman, and I am tutoring a woman from El Salvador who is studying for her citizenship exam.
Great. Mark.
Mark Urell, and I'm tutoring a young woman who came from Colombia within the last year and a half or so, and she is an intermediate level student. And she's taking the English course at Berkshire Community College and using the LitNet tutoring program as kind of a supplement to her learning.
Great. Nancy.
This is my 2nd year of tutoring. I started with one woman from Colombia, and she was an absolute beginner. And her husband then wanted to also tutor. It has worked out really well for them to be together, which is a little bit unusual. And I would say that they are probably, if there is such a thing as a high beginner, I think that's where they are.
Sounds good. And Josh.
My name is Josh Beardsley, and here's my cat. Sorry. She just woke up. My brother's still asleep. This is my 3rd year, I think, at LitNet. For the first couple of years, I worked with a woman from China. When I first interviewed her, I thought she was a waitress at the Shiho restaurant in Great Barrington. It turns out she owns the restaurant with her husband. She's the cook. She has 2 sons in middle school. She runs her house. And after a year and a half, she passed her HiSET exam. The math I learned a lot from her, and she went right through it and then joined BCC. She worked on the AccuPlacer test, and she got from a 2 essay to a 5. So she was able to pass out of one of the requirements. And I just heard yesterday, she got an A in biology and an A in the English course at BCC. So that was really gratifying. And my current student is a young woman with a 2.5-year-old son. She seems to be a single parent. And she wants to get her high school diploma. Excellent. And she is very busy and does not like the working online. Mm-hmm. But we're doing our best. We're working over the telephone, and she is moving along, and hopefully we'll start taking some of the tests at BCC to qualify for her HiSET.
Excellent. So we have intermediate.
Oh, she's from Ecuador. I forgot to say that. From Ecuador.
So we have some intermediate students, beginner students, citizenship prep, HiSET, GED. So it represents a lot of the different services that we offer here at LitNet. Mark, you joined us as a new tutor just this fall during the pandemic. What made you decide to become a LitNet tutor?
So I'm a recent addition to LitNet, but I had some tutoring experience previously. I lived in New Jersey and was working full-time and had been looking for an opportunity to volunteer, and was trying to think of an area where I felt that I could make a contribution. And so in around 2015 or 2016, without becoming too political, I started thinking about immigration and the challenges that immigrants face, and hit on literacy as an area, where I could mesh some capability that I had with a need that was out there among the immigrant community, and started working with an organization that was very similar to LitNet in New Jersey. And then recently I retired, and we moved up to the Berkshire area, and I reached out to LitNet. I had a bit of a hiatus in tutoring, and was very anxious to get back involved, and it's been wonderful.
Excellent. Nancy, I wondered for you, you've been with LitNet for 2 years. How has the transition been to moving online? So you're used to tutoring in person. How has that been for you?
Well, it was a little bumpy at first because we had connection problems, and the two students are using their phones, mm-hmm. and I'm on my computer, and we're doing FaceTime. But unbelievably, I think that it's working better than face-to-face.
Interesting.
Because the concentration is absolute. And they text me their homework and are extremely conscientious about letting me know if they have to work late or if we need to change. A little note after every session, a thank you. I think it would have been extremely difficult 2 years ago when they were absolute beginners. Mm-hmm. I think we were far enough along it worked.
Mm-hmm. And you had a relationship with them as well.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So Val, you had tutored before in person or did language classes before, and now you're working online. What's the transition for teaching in that style been like for you?
Well, I mean, it's completely different. I'm used to being in a classroom setting with immigrants from all over the world, which makes it fun because they could share their stories. But I do, like Nancy, I found the concentration to be better online with one person. I could really focus on her needs, and we have this set period of time, but that's all we're doing. There's no distractions.
Great. Josh, can you tell, in your 3 years, do you have a challenge that you can think of that you faced and how you resolved it? Like something that happened with a learner, or I don't know, anything in your tutoring a challenge that has been resolved?
Well, my experience has pretty much been the same as Nancy and Val's, because the young woman I'm tutoring now, she really was uncomfortable with online working. She keeps saying that. But on the other hand, it's very concentrated and focused. And to sort of mitigate some of the concerns, I went to her place of work. I think her mother runs a barber shop in Great Barrington, the one across from Ward's Nursery.
Yes.
And we met there, and I'm lucky because I have a lot of structured materials. And then I've purchased materials online. And so the course of study is very direct and prescribed, and it helps us, focus day to day. We tried to do it FaceTime, but communication didn't seem to work, and there were distractions. So it seemed to be better on the phone.
Nice.
And so she has, definite homework to do every week. Twice a week, we meet on Tuesdays and Fridays. She sends in the homework the day before and gets corrected, and then we go over it. So it's a step-by-step approach that seems to get us both focusing on what she needs to do, which is to pass these HiSET tests.
Oh, great. This is a question for all of you. So whoever would like to chime in, can you think of an example of a time that you felt like your role as a tutor mattered? Like you got off of a session, you felt really proud, or you really felt like this is making a difference. Does anybody have a story to share on that front?
Well, I think I do. Because I'm teaching civics, basically, for my citizenship learner, this has been a fantastic time to see real life examples of why the laws we have were created. She watches the news. She texts me during the news. I'm able to relate it back to the material about the three branches of government and the abuse of power. So we have a lot of real life stuff to talk about in relation to what she's learning.
That's great. Other examples, or a time that you did something that felt like it mattered, like your tutoring matters, it's making a difference?
I had a recent experience with my student who is actually participating, or was participating in a program in Berkshire County aimed at helping young recent high school and young college students explore possible careers in the technology field. And she was in a class of about 30 people, the only non-English speaker in that class. And the course was coming to its end, and the final project was a group project that she was participating in as part of a team of 5 students. And she had a particular role in the presentation, and she brought it up to me that she was working on it, and she was obviously quite nervous about getting up in front of class. I think she's been used to kind of sitting in her classes and drinking in rather than actively participating. And so we spent one of our sessions before her presentation looking at the slide that she was responsible for helping put together and polish the slide a bit, going through her script that she was preparing to present the slide, and really building her confidence, because that's such a big part of it for these people whose English is limited, to make them feel like, it's okay to speak, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to be a learner. And anyway, she ended up, we obviously had a follow-up the next week and talked about it, and it went really well, and she got lots of great feedback. And
that's great.
She was particularly proud of the fact that she had spoken up and had an active participant equal to her other team members. And it was just a one thing that it was completely off curriculum, but it was something that came up in her life as we were working together, that provided an opportunity for, more enhanced, kind of more real life learning for her, and that was great.
Right.
I have two examples, one big one and a very teeny one. Wei, my first student, when she got her high set, she was looking to get a degree in accounting or something like that at BCC, and that really made me not excited. And now she's switched, and she wants to be a physical therapist, and that really makes me much more comfortable. And the young woman who's working on her high set, she doesn't have any confidence whatsoever. And just translating, or not translating, just defining words when we go along and do reading, and she gets the word, and it gets me so excited. My wife downstairs, she says, "Oh my God, what are you so excited about?" Well, she got this word right. It was so fantastic. I can't remember what it was, but that really makes you feel good, and she feels good. And then the last exam, she's in the 70% area, and that's passing. So she's been very reluctant to reach out to the woman at BCC who organizes the exams, but I think by the end of the month she's going to set up some times for her to do it, and then we'll see what happens. But that's been very exciting to me, and I think it matters to her that she's getting some confidence. Yeah,
that's great. So if you met someone who was curious about becoming a tutor, how might you persuade them that this is something worth doing? What advice would you have, or what? Imagine you're at a cocktail party, like in person, and you look great. You're dressed up, real life.
That's old age we're talking about.
Yeah, really.
Okay, imagine you're on Zoom and everyone's in their pajamas and you're drinking coffee at home.
I have talked to people about becoming a tutor, and the first response I get sometimes is, "I would love to do it, but I don't know Spanish, or I don't know whatever language they think they would need to know. I've never been a teacher." And I would like to really encourage people that if you love people and you're patient and you can use materials, you can do it. And it's so rewarding in terms of getting to know really good, hardworking people. And as Mark alluded to earlier, making immigrants comfortable. And my students have really found the Berkshires to be a safe and patient place. They absolutely love it here. And last Monday, our last tutoring session, we had a little bit of a breakthrough in that I've finally gotten them to start Duolingo. And I'm on day 268 today of Spanish Duolingo. But what has helped is last time, one of the students couldn't think of words, and I said, "Just say it to me in Spanish." And so we went very slowly, and I could figure out what he was trying to say. And so he wanted to know how to say it in English, and I told him. He repeated it. And so I said, "I'm going to say it in Spanish." He thought it was hilarious how I said it. But, that was good. He could teach me, and it certainly put the shoe on the other foot for me.
Yeah, interesting. That's a good point, because a lot of people say, I don't speak Spanish, and you're right. It doesn't take that, and it doesn't take being a teacher, because we try to give as much support as we can, and it takes people who like people to be a good tutor, I think. And it's a good point.
Well, for me, I just find it so refreshing to be around somebody who is so desperate to be a citizen of this country and to learn the language and learn the history. I found the ad about being a tutor at a time where I was feeling extremely helpless with everything that's going on. And this gave me some power to actually make this country a better place.
Nice.
It's not only the person that I'm tutoring, but also her husband pops on the Zoom once in a while. And he's incredible. He could tell you the history of every president of the United States. He gave me a big lesson on Fillmore. I don't even remember Fillmore's first name.
Millard.
As president. Millard Fillmore. And yesterday he was studying calculus, and I said, "Are you going to school?" He says, "No, I just love math." I mean, it's just, they're so inspiring, and they just really want to be part of things, and it's very refreshing.
Excellent. So
I
nice.
think picking up.
Go ahead.
Are
Mark.
in their 60s.
Oh. Mhm.
And that's a tough time to start in a new country with a new language, and they don't let it stand in their way,
Nice.
which is inspirational.
So inspirational.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had that experience. In my prior program, I taught a man who was in his late 50s. Now I'm teaching somebody who's just 20, I think, and both shared that immigrant spirit of. Val described it as sort of desperate, and I think that's right. It's a kind of, but in a good way, kind of a real desire to participate, make a contribution, work hard, learn what they can, and in the case of my older student, make a better life for his family. And what I would say to somebody thinking about tutoring is you won't believe. I mean, you'll understand what contribution you're making to your student, but you won't believe how much more you get back in return. It's so extremely rewarding working with these people. And as Val said, it's empowering. You feel like you're, instead of sitting and ruminating about the world as it exists today, you're actually doing something to make a life better, and by extension, other lives, because as Val was saying, that student's husband pops on my student's mom pops on the screen periodically, and we have a chance to check in and say hello. And so it's just a great thing. It's a great thing.
So nice. It makes
couldn't
me
agree
feel.
more with everything.
Say again, Josh.
I couldn't agree more with everything that was said. If you really want to be around people who are working hard or conscientious, who can teach you things, it's fun and rewarding at the same time.
Thank you. It makes me feel really just grateful to be part of the organization, and grateful to you all, the four of you and all of the tutors, because LitNet could not exist without you. We are you. The tutors make us who we are, and the learners. Something just exciting to share with all of you is that typically we have 125 to 150 learner pairs, tutor and learner pairs that are up and active. And right now we have 90. So in the face of the pandemic, that's amazing. That's really, truly amazing. And Josh and Nancy, you participated in our distance learning initiative where we got some data on could this work out. And Mark and Val came on board when this is all you know of LitNet. So it's really, 90 tutors and learners are working in a virtual manner right now. And I have more students to pair. I have tutors that are coming to us that I'm about to train. So it's really remarkable to hear just from the four of you why you do this and how it's going for you, and it's inspiring. So I just wanted to thank you on behalf of LitNet for speaking from the tutor point of view. And before we close, I didn't know if you had any final stories or example or something you'd like to share.
I just want to say,
They all want to speak.
to any tutor that's out there and who's worried about doing this, I was a little concerned about the support I would get. And within the first week, I said, Leigh, who can I talk to? And she paired me up right away with an experienced tutor who was teaching citizenship. And now she and we email each other about different things and, a seminar we took together. So the support is there. You're not on your own.
That's great. Good. Yes.
I want to say that in spite of all of the wonderful things about tutoring, I think new tutors should also be aware that you can get very frustrated with, all of a sudden you can't have your lesson, but because their lives are so busy. But don't quit. Just keep going and let them text you. But those starts and stops can be, oh my gosh, am I ever going to make a difference? But then you find a routine and a groove of how you're going to operate together. So don't get discouraged.
That's really great advice. Good advice.
Very good. Right.
And typical, as you mentioned, their kids aren't in school now. Many of them are working 2 jobs. They're frontline workers. So there's a lot. Their commitment to their English, their improving their English is just really inspirational. So yes, it can be frustrating, the canceled sessions and all that, but it's great to just keep encouraging your learners and trying to begin again as well. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for participating, and I'm delighted for potential new volunteers to see this and for your fellow tutors to see this as well. You all are inspirational, and I really appreciate you taking the time today to be on our new cable show, the Literacy Network Presents. So, thanks for being
Thank
here.
you, Leigh, for the
Wow.
contributions you've made in the last year. This is really, you really pulled this place together.
It's my pleasure,
Yeah,
and you guys are the heart and soul of the organization. It's my pleasure to work here. Thank you all.